post yesterday's WebEx. I forgot about that. Okay, we're all up and going here pretty good. There we go. Oh, we got Larissa Mishler here.
Crystal, are you a unicorn?
Pardon me?
Crystal's a unicorn, guys.
Larissa, that's a pimple. We don't talk about those things.
It was Ashley talking, not Larissa, but A for effort.
Ashley, she's got a rather large boil on her head. Let's just ignore it, okay? Cheers to you, Crystal. Love that. Love that. Oh, boy. Okay. Oh, and there's Sandlin. Thank you again, Sandlin, for posting that beautiful. It has a lot to do with what we're talking about today, too. So I thought that was gorgeous. What a nice pair, eh? In the world should be like that. Just two dudes being dudes, you know? Yeah, that's cool. That was really lovely. Wait a couple minutes, just make sure everybody's here. Ooh, we should dress up for next week. Yes, we should. Yes, but at least for our last class. That might be kind of cool. That might be kind of cool.
That actually would work because I have 2 Elsa costumes right now.
yeah, you're not fair. No, Emma, that's not fair. No, that's not fair at all. Or we all do sort of our own homemade Frozen outfits, you know, and then you just look fantastic in the whole shebang. All right. I hate that movie, by the way. Did anyone else there was nothing there. Like even the bad people weren't bad, you know? You know what I mean? Am I wrong? I think I'm wrong. Maybe I'm old.
The second one better than the first one.
Okay. I gotta be honest, I fell asleep through the halfway point because it was kind of boring.
Speaking of,
what was that?
I'm at work right now, so it's going to be really loud. But I was going to say, speaking of falling asleep, I got through almost all of The King's Gimp and then fell asleep for the last 15 minutes. I tried. I got 45 or like 35 or however long it was to it.
The best part of the movie. The best part of the movie. Okay, you got to catch that last 15 minutes there, Trisha Vincent. All right, I was going to ask people how you felt about that movie. I just love that. We'll rewatch it tonight. Yeah. And again, don't be afraid of giving the guy a little Facebook hello. He's a pretty cool dude. You know, maybe I should have that as homework. You guys send Dan a little, hey, how's it going, man? How's it going? He's a cool dude. Okay. Old kids in the background. Yep. Okay. Lots of noise. That's all right. We don't care. That was a lovely way to start, by the way, Emma. Thank you, Emma Filion, for bringing Ethan in. He's become a little part of our class. The same with the jumping cats and the aggressive dogs and the dog-cat relationships. So we've got one weird class. I really dig it. I dig it. But thank you for bringing him in. It's nice to start with a song for sure. All righty. Okay, let's get this going. I must have missed that he had so he's got a Facebook, so you can contact him there. I will check today though, just make sure it's up and running. Here I am going, because I emailed him about a couple of years ago, and he said some nice things back. So nice guy. Oh, Masha, your awesome container. Where's Masha's awesome container? Holy smokes, Masha! Like, what is in that thing? Is that like a?
No, nothing's in it, but it's my lunchbox, so it like separates. So you can have like.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Oh, where did you pick up that, Masha?
Online on a site called Zone Gears. I think a year and a half ago or so.
Okay.
So and it comes with an insulated bag with pockets on the side. So.
We always had it in class, so it was part of the daily routine to know what Masha had for lunch that day.
Oh, that's too cool. And she's continuing it today, online, right?
We had a PE day on Friday, so I had to bring it for lunch, and then my mom just washed it and left it on the table, so I'm putting it away so I can have room for breakfast.
It's very Korean and East Indian, like on how they would make their little snack things like that. It's very cool.
I've had a couple East Indian people like comment on it, say, hey, we have that back home and all that, like, where'd you get it? And then I've seen it actually on a show called New Amsterdam. One of the doctors is East Indian, and he actually had a very similar container to mine, but it was all like stainless steel. I was
Yes.
like, hey mom, look, that's my thing.
Well, that's what it reminds me of. Yeah, because they're stainless steel and they bolt all together.
Yeah, yeah. It's so much easier because you put all your food in and you eat all of it and you're good, you're full. But it doesn't take up nearly as much room as it does in a normal lunch bag.
Yeah.
Because you don't need containers for every little tiny thing because it's all in here.
And no one can take your lunch at work because, you know, hey, that's mine.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So.
Right on. Oh, Crystal's got her dog. Oh, this will be interesting. Put some peanut butter on the end of that thing there, Crystal, and let's see what happens. That might be kind of cool. That's how we do my dog's nails. I put peanut butter on my head, and it works. And your skin's really soft. Oh my God, it feels really good, but it's hard to. You smell like peanut butter all day. I've seen people put Saran wrap. I should probably do that, but oh man. All right, thank you. Thank you for sharing your stuff. I love this energy. Dang, I love this energy. I don't want this to end. I got to teach you guys again. I'm having a lot of fun. I don't care how you feel about me. I'm having fun. All right, so I don't care. All righty. So we're talking about support today. We've got a nice thing which we're sort of starting. Let me just go to this right here. Yeah. So there's a couple things I want you guys to do today before I ask my little questions and things like that. I want you to check out Positively Autistic, okay, on the resource. It's amazing. It's I know, again, it's another thing dealing with autism, but it really shifts your brain on how you look at things like autism. Right? And it really cements the whole point we're trying to make here about let's get rid of the barriers. Get rid of the barriers. And one of the big barriers, especially around folks with autism, is our own thinking about folks with autism. And it's something very personal to me because my friend has autism, Asperger's, God knows what it is. And I'm intrigued. I just find it fascinating how that look at the world differently than you and I and react differently. Did you guys in my own language? Did you check out that video I was asking you to watch? What did you guys think about that? About that?
I was pretty amazed by it, honestly. I was watching it at first, and a couple of the sounds at first were pretty they would hurt my ears, but then towards the end of it with his humming noise and the book with the sounds of the flipping paper, I got really relaxed listening to it, and then having him or her, I can't quite remember, but either way, to her, sorry. So when she was explaining her language and how she interacts with the world, I was blown away. It just blew my mind, and her vocabulary and the way she can communicate with our language is incredible. And then language, so it's just she's bilingual in a way, but no one would even know.
Yeah, I and as I said yesterday, after when I first watched that flick a few years back, I felt really jealous. I wish, as a musician, I could interact with the world like that. You know, it caught me with her hands with the flag. Because, we miss all that stuff. We see the funny hand go, what the hell's going on there? But then you start noticing, no, it's interacting with the flag. Oh my golly. It's really cool. That blew my mind. Emma.
I would say as soon as I started the video, I immediately knew that she was communicating. It was different. It's something I felt I noticed as soon as I started it, that she was doing her own way of communication, and the way that she can even type and stuff too. It was it was good to see how good she was able to communicate. I might not have really understood what she was trying to say the entire time, but I still understood that was her way of trying to communicate.
Yeah, you know, Emma, your point reminded me of the first time I saw it, and then the next couple of times there were things I didn't get, and there's still some things I don't get. But it reminds me of, I go to the art gallery a lot, and I like art, and I love looking at a piece of art and I don't get it. I don't get it. And I like leaving with that mystery. That's what I dig about her, right? That's what I dig about. Yeah, there's some things that she communicates. Maybe I'll never get it. I probably won't, right? But I like having things left like that now I got to figure that out. Yeah, cool. Anyone else with a comment about that? About the in my own language? It's pretty good. Okay, and I forgot to say my good mornings, everybody. That's why Larissa's not talking, because I didn't say good morning. All right, let me start with our good morning. Sorry about that, everybody. I did a quick one, but here we go. We'll do it official. Ashley Jensen is here all the way from Selkirk, Manitoba. Going back to my wrestling.
I actually live in Lorette now. Sorry.
Oh, hey, I bought a base in Lorette. That base back there I bought in Lorette. Maybe you've seen it before.
Maybe. Who'd you buy it from? Do you remember their name?
It was an old French guy. Do you have any old French guys in Lorette?
Everybody's an old French guy. My dad's an old French guy.
And I'm teaching diversity. Maybe I'll learn something. All right. Ashley, good to see you. Kathy, good to see you. And I hope you had some good thinking last night, Kathy, about what you're going to do with your learning story. If not, that's cool too. We're gonna figure this thing out. No worries there at all. We got Crystal with the terrible boil on her forehead and that beautiful dog. Crystal, it's good to see you. I love that energy. Oh, Emma, there's our Emma shacking up with her boyfriend that she's only known for a year. My God, I'm feeling like your dad right now. We got Emma Philly on, and her beautiful son, Ethan, was starting up with us. And I think there's like a man in the back. Is there supposed to be a man in the back?
My husband.
Okay, good. Listening, Emma, that's a husband. A husband. You put a ring on it. Is that appropriate? Because I'm not sure with how the metaphors work nowadays. I used to say daddy a lot in class. I used to say, come on, make daddy happy, until someone told me it's slang for a pimp. So I thought, all right, okay.
Well, I don't live here.
Yeah, I'm still judging you, Emma. That's okay. I'm still judging you. All right. And we've got the great Jasmine Van Veen with the beautiful headset and the explosion of hair. I love that. We've got Celine, who sent us that beautiful video yesterday. Thank you so much for that, Celine. That was beautiful. That was just a lovely way to sort of tie things together for me, and I've never seen that one, so thank you. I'm offline here. Okay, Jody Black, I said hi to you this morning, but I think you're around, Jody. Hello, Jody, to you. You know what? We love her. We know her. Larissa Mitchler is in the house. Good to have you here, Larissa. I haven't had any nasty emails from you, so I think you're okay with my teasing. I don't know. We got our Masha here in her beautiful thermos, Korean, East Indian food thing that she had. That's very cool. Megan Workington. Where is our Megan Workington? Usually we see her. Where is she? How come I don't see her? Is she on here? Oh, there she is down there, but no pig. Oh, we usually see our Megan. Riley Aronson is here in the house. Oh, I think something just went on. Oh, this is hard to do. Okay, Riley Aronson's in the. Oh, there she is. There's Megan. Yep, your hair looks good, Megan. Looking good. Salin. Oh, I already said hi to you. Sandra Anderson. Good to see you, Sandra. Looking so peaceful and so stoic by the window. That is lovely. We've got Trisha Brazett. I'm just making up new last names. Great chat with you this morning, Trish. That made me laugh my head off when you had that question on Teams. And Trisha Vincent, who's stuck somewhere in a storage locker. And please, somebody release her maybe at some point today. Be good. Oh, God, and there's a terrible fight going on between Crystal and the dog. Okay, lovely. All right, good mornings. All right. What were your thoughts about King Gimp? We know Trisha fell asleep at the best part. I thought it was the best part. There's tons of best parts. But what were your thoughts about Dan and the story of his mom and how it all sort of relates to what we're trying to talk about? What were your thoughts about King Gimp? Brosite. Thank you, Trisha. Yes, Brosite. That's what thank you. Okay, what were your thoughts about King Gimp? Well, I'll have to disagree with you anyway. Yep. Heck was that? His art. Emma Filion says his art. Yeah, I know it. You know, Emma, that was a powerful scene for me. His relationship with his art teacher. You know, how his art teacher put the helmet on and tried it out himself. And I thought, you know what? That guy is a model for all of us in inclusion. He just gets it. He gets that, yeah, the guy's just a dude. He wants to paint and figure out a way to paint, you know, and him trying that on and giving it a go. And yeah, I just thought that was beautiful. Emma, you're right. He's very talented, amazing sense of humor. You can tell that he came from a house of love, you know, that his mom, come on, folks, his mom, and I said that yesterday, his mom was way ahead of everybody. And she's so brave and strong. And she did that on her own, for heaven's sakes. Like, that's incredible. How'd you like his friends? Like the friendship group that he had just regular old friends. And that's where the name King Gimp came from, right? And it was just so loving. And that ridiculous dance scene where they're hauling him around and dancing and getting drunk and all that other kinds of stuff like you do in college and university, right? So I just thought it was beautiful. I held it together until I saw him eating off the floor. Yeah, but yeah, who said that? That was Kathy. Yeah, yeah, Kathy.
Since we're waiting, I emailed Michelle this morning to find out about the last 4 days of our classes in January. And we don't go to work. They will be like stuff for us to do.
What are you talking about?
The last 4 days in January of this term 2, it's all like practicum stuff. But I wasn't
Oh.
sure if it was, do we still go to work for that or do we stay home? And yeah, we still stay home. We do stuff.
Okay.
She'll be doing a schedule soon, she said.
Okay. Back, are we officially back again? Oh, golly. Sorry about that. I had, for some reason, my internet shut down. I just wanted to, can you hear me okay? Everybody can hear me okay? I just wanted to sort of jump on what Kathy was talking about. Yeah, so the eating off the floor, kind of weird, but then you get it. Right, his way that he adapts that stuff. But yeah, I cry every single time when he's crying. Oh, let's not give it away to Trisha. Oh, she's not there. I cried every single time. Every single time I see that part. I don't know. I just felt like I mentioned it's an emotional movie. I just felt like it was really touching to see a guy as a little kid lose his best friend, be in a segregated school, work through school, all the troubles, graduate. My God, it was just like a release. So it's absolutely incredible. Yeah, emotional movie, and I hope people keep it in mind about our work in inclusion. That's what we're hoping for. Every one of those kids that you got in your program, that's what we're hoping for, right? Whatever they become, they can become. I'm working right now with my friend Bruce. As I say, I've told you that he's an incredible mind around music. He can tell you when a Beatles record was produced, the date, the time, who was in the room. And I'm trying to get him a job at a music store, like at a record shop, like into the music. Because I think that how do we move people along to become the things that they want to become? Right, and it's tricky, it's tough. Emma, did you want to say something, Emma?
Just watching the movie, it was really like emotional for me because like my ex, he had a child, and the child was born with cerebral palsy as well, and I didn't really understand what it was for a lot of time. Like at first, I just thought it was like a person who had trouble walking, so they had to walk with a cane pretty much the whole time. Like, so then just seeing like Dan be in that position, it just kind of made me feel really sad, because even though I hate him, I just like I guess kind of just kind of like sad, like sad, like just realizing what that child is going to have to go through.
Yeah, they've got a bit of a journey ahead of them for sure, just like a lot of people. But yeah, they've got an extra kind of stuff on their plan for the journey. But again, Emma, we can be inspired by Dan's story, that with the right people, the right support, and that's what we're talking about today: support. The right support, you're going to accomplish something. They're gonna be okay, Emma. I'm an old man. Maybe you can tell, and I've noticed that things are different nowadays than it was 30 years ago when you had a kid with cerebral palsy. We're seeing a lot more folks getting really good jobs. With cerebral palsy, we're seeing that. Emma, I'll look for this great little film that I like. It's just a short one. Maybe you guys have seen it, but it's this guy with cerebral palsy. He's an English dude, and he's trying to get a rainbow bagel in New York City. And he's hilarious. He's funny. He's a terrible dude. I love him. And I'll find that video and I'll post that, Emma, because I like those kinds of things, because you see what people can actually become. He's going to be all right, Emma. He's going to be all right, even though the dad might be a little weird for you, and he got to have you in the beginning of his time. So you got to believe that you leave a little bit of something behind.
Yeah, but I found like it was really like neat too. Like when you saw like he was doing the skiing down the hill, like I thought that was like really inspirational too. And it's just like really, because like I didn't like think about it in a negative way. Like it's just kind of like made me like happier, because like I was able to see that the child will have a better experience and stuff like than what I probably like initially thought. So like I looked at it more of like a that way more than like a disappointing or like sad way.
Absolutely. And if I can just jump on your point there, Emma, I don't know if you guys took this from the movie, and this is why I showed it, but you've got a Dan in your room right now. He may not have cerebral palsy, might have other things, right? But you got a Dan in your room right now. And what is the work of inclusion? Yes, it's friendship, right? It's understanding each other. But it's also me trying to make you strong. I want all those kids in my program to be like Dan. Dan won't let anybody roll over him. Dan didn't rely on his mom, you know, as he got older. He had to do things himself. So what I'm basically saying is, how do we help these kids? How do we support them to be strong so that they can be opinionated and be willing to strap themselves into some sort of ski thing and go hurling down a hill, right? Like, that's why I like those kinds of film. And I started our class off like in our first day. It's not about scissor skills, and it's not about. Maybe it's about saying, "Is Ethan around?" Oh yeah, is that Ethan Surfa? Okay, maybe it's us teaching that kid how to say, "Up yours! I'm going to do the things I want to do," you know. So that's what Dan's story teaches me. That's what my work and hanging out with folks in the adult community. And correct me if I'm wrong, Trisha Brozite. But that's, we want strong people, and the adults that we see that at least I hang out with. I think about who were the people that got them into this sort of strength to be able to be opinionated and strong. So yeah, good for you, Emma. I'm glad that moved you. And you know what? I'm glad it was personal too. I'm glad it was personal because this is personal. It really is personal, everybody, because it's about human rights, and that's personal. You know, it's about creating a place where everybody has the right to access. We're not talking about equality here. We're talking about equity, which is something a little bit different. It's about how do we help support these people to get up to a fair spot. You know, I heard a person say, there's this woman from the U of M. I heard her speak at International Day of Disability or something like that. My band would play at the museum, the Human Rights Museum, on International Disability Day. And she came out and gave us a history of the word handicap. That was interesting to me because most of us know, and maybe you don't, but we don't use that term because it was believed that handicap meant you had a cap and you beg for money. So we don't use that word. Well, she came out and she's a self-advocate. She has some condition where she needs crutches and stuff like that to walk. And she came out and said, handicap is actually from an old English game called hand, meaning that you had these sticks in a cap and you pulled out the stick and you had to negotiate with other people to make it fair that everybody got the same amount of sticks. That's different. That's different than the term that we know it as. And if you think about golf, I don't golf. I'm not much of a golfer, but I like going to the horse races. I only $10. That's all I spend. All right, Kathy, don't judge me. It's just $10. I like to have a good time. It's fun. I hate gambling, but I love horses. And they have a handicap, which means that in the old days, they used to put weights on the fast horses to slow them down a bit. So it was a fair race. Pretty interesting, right? So that's all requires support. That's equity. It's all support. Dan had support. The video that Salin showed is that beautiful human support between two people. And that's all we're talking about. I mentioned in our very first class on the narrated PowerPoint slides, I have no time for care. I have no time for care. Care is the enemy, folks. It really, really is. I only give a darn about support. It's totally different. When we only care for somebody, as I mentioned, what does someone learn? Helplessness, loneliness. What was the other thing? Helplessness, loneliness, and something else that was really good and powerful. But in support, what you learn is about yourself. I have a really nice video on today's class, and it's the Mutter Challenge. I don't know if you guys have watched it yet, but I like that as a metaphor of support. So if you haven't seen that video yet on my videos, please. It's basically just a dad helping his kid who's in a wheelchair get up the final thing from a mutter. They're supporting him. He still has to do it himself, but they're supporting him. And that's what this is about, which is really scary for us folks, because in order to support someone, we have to stop seeing them as vulnerable. We have to stop seeing them as weak. We have to be okay with accidents and mistakes. We can't fear that stuff, right? Because again, if we keep the job simple, then I'm here to support you. I'm going to help you. I'm going to support you. I ain't going to care for you, but I am going to support for you, right? And then that means we will make some mistakes. We'll have tons of successes. And then the person grows like a human being. Trisha wrote, there's a little girl in my daycare with unrecognized abilities. Thank you guys for using that term. I'm getting better at it. I just got to keep practicing it. So thank you, Trisha. Except because of COVID, we haven't seen her much, but the love and devotion her mom has is incredible, really inspirational. Yep. That's a good model for everybody, Trisha. It's a good model for everybody. My dad, he's an okay guy. He's all right. But he is a consulting engineer for construction companies. So there was a big thing in Toronto a few years back where they needed to put ramps and access into the old buildings. And my dad was angry. He was actually a part of the group that was going against that. And so he and I had a very interesting phone call when I saw his name in the article. We had a very interesting phone call. And I said, what the hell? What the hell? Like, what are you doing? Like, you're blocking inclusion. You're blocking access. Then he says, I don't want them to wreck the old historic buildings. And we had this big talk about, but everybody has the right to go and see the historic building. And he had a very honest, if you ever met if you thought I was a lunatic, my dad's worse. And he had a very honest reply, and he said, what's it any good for? Some of those people aren't even going to live very long. Some of them are just a head in a wheelchair. And I talked about how you can't define life like that. None of us know how long we're going to live. Everybody has the right to be able to be touched by beauty. We won't know whether or not they are, but that's not up to us. You just have to have faith that we'll all be touched by beauty. And plus, I want to learn more about myself being in, this is selfish, but being in a place with other folks who are different than me. It's good for everybody. He wasn't convinced. And he lost. The whole group lost. Now you got ramps and stuff getting into the old historic buildings. So that was nice. All right. So it's all about support. Yes. And that's lovely, Trisha, about that kid's going to be all right. That kid's going to be all right. And, you know, there's reasons why I posted today a thing from the newspaper about hospitalization and equity and access for folks. And people got to be careful with COVID. So as long as she's in a home full of love, Trisha, we're fine. Did you want to say something, Trisha? It looks like you want to say something.
Okay. Some of the staff members think that she's like the mom is really difficult to work with. So they always are like, Trisha, you like her, go deal with her all the time. And she's actually really not as bad as they say that she is. She's really nice. She's just really busy, and it kind of comes off as frustrated sometimes, but she's great. And so is her daughter. So.
Yeah, Trisha, in today's slides, I have the Welcome to Holland slide, which might be interesting, and it's from a parent perspective of what it's like to have a kid with unrecognized abilities. I have the stages that a family goes through when they realize their kid has an unrecognized ability. And the reason why I put those in is because, and your story is absolutely bang on, these parents have a lot on their plate. Hey, I gotta come to an understanding that everything's good. I got to come to an understanding that, yeah, this is my child. I'm going to love him regardless, right? But that's a lot of steps. And there's a lot of trauma that happens in those steps. And yeah, you know what? Yeah, you might be a tough parent to deal with because you have been through a hell that a lot of other people haven't been through. And thank heavens, Trisha, this happens all the time. I worked in daycare where, staff were afraid of certain parents, and I'm a nice guy, so I was the one that had to deal with it. Thank God the parent has someone like you. Not everybody has to be like that, Trisha, but we need, as I said in our very first slideshow, we need at least one person who believes in us. Just one. We only need one person to believe in us and what that means. So, yeah. And they should be tough, my God, because they've got a whole journey again where they're going to have to advocate, fight for their kid, for heaven's sakes. The province starts taking away money from inclusion. Now I got to go and fight. Nobody else has to do that. Yeah, so kind of timely with the PowerPoint that I'm going to have up there today, or what you guys are going to look at. Thank you for that. Thank you. All right, I got a couple of questions. I know I meander and I go on and on and on. Is that okay with you guys? Are you guys getting frustrated with me on how I just jump all over the place? Are you sure? Larissa, what do you think? Yeah, you just like tired of me going all over the place, Larissa?
I'm the same way as you are, so this is normal to me.
Okay, perfect. Perfect. Thank God they didn't have Ritalin when I was a kid. Oh! Larissa wrote, dang. All right, Larissa. I'm going to buy you a beer, Larissa. When all this is over, I am buying you a beer, and we're going to go drinking. Okay. And I don't care if you don't drink or not. You are going to drink. All right, I got a couple of questions. Oh, boy. Which one do I want to deal with? Okay, can I just leave you with a couple of things here? I've got these really good slides called Through the Lens, and it looks at the 4 barriers that get in the way for inclusion. Can you make sure you spend a little time on that and thinking about the 4 barriers? Physical, so stopping people from getting in or making it hard for folks to get into the daycare center. Informational, where people have a little bit of trouble accessing information because of their, unrecognized ability. It was really neat. I don't know, I didn't say it in this class, but I used to have a job where I drove a book lending, toy lending library through at-risk areas in downtown Toronto, like the really tough areas of Toronto. And what was really cool, every time I pull up to a new community, I go, oh, the Somalis are here, and I have to change all the pamphlets to all the Somali ones. And then I would, the Somali families come in, and we have a good time. And then I drive to the next one. Oh, now all the Arabs are here. Okay, and I put in all the pamphlets, because it was important not to have a barrier to folks from an information perspective. That was a fun job. Institutional barriers. So any of the sort of the rules that go. You guys had talked before. Some of you guys had really chatted about this before. That sometimes you have rules in your center that we all go on field trips, even if that one kid can't. That's an institutional barrier. Some of you guys have. You won't know this. But, some of you guys, maybe there's an institutional rule there that doesn't allow medically fragile kids because it requires a bit of work. And if I can say that the toughest thing about medically fragile kids is you lose them. That's hard. I've lost kids, that I've worked with. And they're just here for a short time, brighten up a room. In fact, I still think about a bunch of them because they were really, really funny and weird and interesting. So that's a lot of people don't want to have to go through that grief in a center. But I'm going to tell you that grief is really powerful. It's really powerful. And then attitudinal barriers. That's the scariest one. That's how you think. That's how you look at inclusion. And we've talked a lot about how you've all probably run into folks who have all the words, but not the action and the heart, right? And I got to be honest with you folks, I face that all the time around inclusion in this province with some of the people that you really admire. I face this across the country with some of the big leaders in childcare. I go across the country with this one speaking thing where I'm asking and I'm pleading people, can we not hire people with unrecognized abilities to work in daycare? As soon as I throw that out, I get blowback. I get all kinds of people going, oh my God, you'd leave them in charge with kids and all that stuff. And I'm shocked. These are the people who know all the words about inclusion but don't have the heart. And folks, I put in there in our slideshow for today that sort of whole thing about they're unemployed. I'm not working towards getting kids unemployed, as I said in our very beginning. They need to have employment. I have met some folks with unrecognized abilities who would be fantastic working in our field. Someone once said, would you want to work with someone with autism? I said, yeah, because they'd be counting heads all the time. Do you think I count heads all the time? How many kids do you think I've lost? I would love to work with someone with autism. They would keep me on. It's ridiculous. So attitudinal barriers to me is the scariest one of all. Trisha, I support a lady who tried to work in childcare. She never got the job. She even completed the 40-hour course. Yeah. Trisha, I might even know who you're talking about because I know of 2 people in the community that did the 40-hour, were successful and couldn't get work. Or they get volunteer jobs, which is not a job. You got to work, for heaven's sakes. You got to work. So anyways, I'm a kook. I know I'll see that. I'll see that when Ethan's an old man like me, he'll be bringing his kid to daycare and there'll be someone with Down syndrome working in that daycare center. I know that. Again, folks, just think about that for a second. Just think about Trisha's mom, the mom that Trisha's working with. Think about her. She comes into daycare and there's someone with an unrecognized ability working in that daycare center. Now she knows the possibilities are endless. So we've come pretty good in inclusion. We got to do the next step. We got to show the world. We were the first, folks. We were the first in the late 60s. We started doing inclusion, not so much here in Manitoba. Ontario, yeah, here we go again, Jasmine. Ontario, we're cool. We're cool. We know that. We got to do the next step. So I want you to think about those barriers, okay? And what are some of the barriers within your center that's getting in the way of full inclusion, full equity? All right? So if you could do that, because I'm running out of time, I could go on all day. Can I just, and also, can I give you a little task on Teams? And I will post this on Teams, okay? Not for marks. Don't worry, Trisha Vincent. I know you're working and all that stuff. Not for marks, just for something fun. Let's try this. This is a fun little activity, at least I think it is. Can you write, you don't have to write the kid's name, please don't write the kid's name. But can you write a therapeutic recommendation? So that's like when the big experts say, Mark has to work on his friendship skills. All right? Or Mark has to work on his stopping from punching people in the face every now and then. Mark has to work on using his words in conflict, okay? And I want you to write that therapeutic recommendation on Teams, but then I want you to add, what is Mark good at? Okay? So Mark needs work at his behavior, not being so aggressive. Mark is really good at music and art. And then I want you guys to respond with an activity idea that can help Mark work on his behavior using music and art. All right, is that fair? Give it a go. Not for marks. Good practice for the big assignment. I don't know. Could be fun. I don't think Salen's convinced. I'm looking at her face, and I don't think she's convinced on that. I don't think she thinks it's going to be fun, but you'll see, Salen. Salen with a period. I love your name, by the way. I love it. It's just got a period there. Don't change that because that is so cool. That's very European. All right. So I'll leave that, guys, with you guys. Okay. Oh, we got another thing here. Oh boy, Trisha Vincent, she's doing it all. Look at her. Oh, sorry, Celine, I missed your thing. Okay, Celine. Oh God, here I'm being a jerk, and Celine writes something nice in the chat. Mark needs help with his pro-social skills. Maybe we could add that one there. I worked at a center where staff were let go. They worded it differently, but it was 100% because of their unrecognized, and I'm still bitter about it. Yeah. well, so if that's you looking bitter, oh, I would take. You should see my wife's look. Oh my God, I'd take that any day. Yeah. So injustice is not nice. It makes you feel sick to your stomach. I'm a very polite, friendly guy. I really am. I say hi to everybody. I don't care who you are. I like to build friendships with everybody. I don't care who you are. But if you deny someone justice, if you deny someone equity, I go crazy Irish. I go crazy Irish. Things that come out of my mouth are terrible. And it's almost like I rise above myself and I go, oh, what did you just say? It's okay to feel bitter. Don't be that person. I'm speaking to you like a director. You're going to be a director in a few years, Celine. So be angry. It's ridiculous, but it says more about them. But also something you're really supporting what I'm saying here is that we've got the words, but we don't have the attitude, and that is sick to me. You want to say something, Celine?
What really bothered me was that, like, our previous director, the one I had before this situation, was so into like the inclusion, and she hired these staff for a reason, and then she left, and the next director came in, and the first thing she did was get rid of them. And that really upset me because it was like, how is nobody else seeing this? Like, why am I the only one that's bothered? So yeah.
Yeah, thank gosh, Celine, thank gosh you can't understand. That's good. That gives you a couple marks in this class. I'm just writing that down. Okay, Celine, a couple marks. Give about 2.5 marks. I think that's worth 2.5 marks. Thank God you can't understand that, but it's just so sick, and it's just so sick to the community and everything else. How do you think? Look at your mission statement in your daycare policies, your mission statement. It does not say, that we kick out people with unrecognized abilities that work here. It says we try to build a community. And yeah, it's that to me is perverted when you say one thing but act a different way. Thank you, Celine. Emma Snell.
Speaking of like inclusion stuff, like the school, like that's close to my daycare, for where like all my school agers go. There is a staff. I'm not too sure what his job is, but he works at the school, and he has I don't know what it's called, but he has like the flipper hands. Like
my friend Scott, his mom had thalidomide in the 60s.
Yeah, like it's only on one hand, but yeah, it's like I don't know what he does, but I know he works at the school, and then you always see him like driving back and forth from home or like walking and stuff like that. He's a nice guy. The kids really like him. Sorry, you froze.
Am I back now? Am I here? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Okay, sorry. It's called normalization, Emma. And what that means is that humans get to see folks with unrecognized abilities in the community doing community things. And then we don't put people on pedestals. I have another resource I really want you guys to check out. And if you don't like me doing this, blame Emma, because she got me inspired here. I've got a really good resource there. It might make you feel uncomfortable. And I go back and forth on it. But then I think about, no, it's about normalization. Watch the thing I've got there called Downesty Episode 3 with subtitles. You don't need to know the other episodes. That's not the point. But watch Downesty. And what it is, it's a show from Finland. It's just a short little film from Finland that was a part of a variety show or something. And the whole world has Down syndrome. The whole world has Down syndrome. And it's a soap opera about the people who live in this world. And I'm going to bet you something. When you start watching it, first you go, that's weird. They all have Down syndrome. But then after a while, at least for me, I started thinking, oh, I guess they're just Finnish. I guess that's what people like from Finland look like, right? Like you start forgetting about, oh, they got Down syndrome because it doesn't matter. So Emma, will you watch that, especially you, based upon your little story there? Just nod your head, Emma. All right, sister. All right. So please check that out. It's very, very cool. Okay. Trisha Vincent says she also brought in posters and flyers to support Down syndrome by wearing mixed match socks. Yeah, that was a big thing. There was a certain day for it, but I can't remember. We now celebrate it every day. Yeah, that's cool. That's really, really cool. I think it was developed by, I forget the history of that. I thought he was a sock maker, but I forget about that. Trisha also, Megan Workington said, we have a staff member at my center who's supported in the community. Right on, Megan. That's lovely. Now the pregnancy part may Trisha's watched it already. I know. Lovely. Yeah, it's thank you for that positivity there, Megan. Which is what we need. It's being done in some centers. I'll tell you a very funny thing. Because of my work with Citizens Advocacy, my buddy Bruce, who I'm friends with, he wasn't my first. He wasn't my first that I was supposed to be an advocate for. I was an advocate first for somebody else, but we didn't like each other. I didn't like him. He didn't like me. He was all about hand care. He was all about like all the creams you put to have soft hands. And so we'd go out for a coffee and all he'd talk about is hand cream. I don't care about hand cream. And I found him dreadfully boring. And as I said, not very nice. I didn't like him. And that's okay, right? It's about goodness of fit. I didn't like him. So I left him. And I left him for Bruce. Because Bruce collects records, loves music, and all that stuff. I go, that's the guy I want to be friends with, right? I'm not going to be friends with you just because you have an unrecognized ability. If you're a cool guy, that's cool. Well, guess what? He works at a daycare center that I do practicum with, and we still don't like each other. And the staff were kind of weirded out because he said, "Aren't you the guy that teaches inclusion? Yet you don't get along with him at all." And I said, "That's inclusion. That's inclusion. That means that you rub me the wrong way. I don't like hanging out with you. That's inclusion." In my band, Trevor is our bass player. He's the guy with autism or Asperger's. His special skill is not playing bass. He does not practice bass. The only thing he practices is standing in front of a mirror with his bass and looking sexy. That's it. And so many times in our band meetings, we go, "Trevor, if you don't practice the bass, we're going to have to kick you out of the band. We got to kick you out, man. Okay, you look cool." He also takes phone calls right in the middle of the song. That's funny in punk rock. I dig that. But you got to practice your bass. And I'd come home and my wife would say, "How was your band practice?" I said, "Oh, we got to kick Trevor out." She'd go, "Oh, that's not nice." I said, "That's inclusion. If you don't do your stuff, you're out. Just like anybody else. You're not special." All right. Okay, I see Trisha's back. Okay, all righty, ready. Now, can I just have one? I just want to deal with one question. I hope you're all right with that. All righty. Can I just ask just a big general question here before we leave? And I think it's a good one from the slideshow. Have you guys looked at the slideshow yet for class 3? Okay. I'm just going to do a little, just an explanation. There's a picture of me with a group of folks in St. Paul, Minnesota. Scott's in the front. It's the whole band. And it looks like that's my arm going over the lady's breasts and grabbing her breasts. That's not my arm. Okay. Jasmine, don't judge me like that. All right. That's not my arm. So look carefully. You'll notice that's not my arm. All righty. Okay. So I have this question on that same slide because I'm looking at it right now. And as I look, even in a smaller version, it looks even worse. And I've got a big look on my face going, "Ugh." So anyways, but that's not it. Okay. What do you hope and dream for in these kids? What do you hope and dream for? Like when you're working with these folks, Trisha, when you're working with that kid, and thank you for sharing the stuff about the mix match socks and all that stuff. When you're working with these kids, whether you have them now or you did before, what are you hoping for? What do you hope for in 10 years for that kid? Because that's what inclusion answers. Give me a couple of ideas of what you're hoping for. There's no wrong answer here, folks. I'm just curious about what you think. Trisha, lying in bed, writes, be part of society and an active part of society, right? An essential part of society, an essential part of community. We don't have many Safeways left. But the one thing I really liked about Safeway is they always hired someone with an unrecognized ability. And sometimes they were out in the checkout. And our local Safeway, which is now Giant Tiger or something like that, we had a guy named Daryl. And Daryl was the bagger. He was there. And I loved it because Daryl, guess what? He talked to you. He wasn't like those 17-year-old girls that bag your groceries and don't talk to you, right? Because they're 17. He was just a fun, cool dude. And I purposely shopped at Safeway because of that. So it was good for the bottom line too, Trisha. When you're becoming a part of society, it's good for your bottom line. I'm going to shop at your store when I got someone like that are hanging out. No, they didn't get paid correctly because, again, they use family benefits and then they just top it up a bit. But Daryl was finished, and I got to see his last day of work, and I said, "What are you going to do, Daryl?" He says, "I'm taking a retirement Freedom 55 vacation." He read all the commercials. It was hilarious. Cool guy. That they have a voice. Thank you, Jasmine. Yeah. And you will notice in my slideshow for today, there's a thing about that. Be my microphone, not my voice. Think about that. That's a good one. Be my microphone, not my voice. And I think that's powerful. That they're happy and fulfilled like everybody else. Absolutely right, Megan. I think I could be wrong. They didn't get paid. Yeah. I'm hoping to advocate for her, to be supportive and give her all the love I have and include her just as every other child for a better tomorrow. Again, love is very, very powerful. It's very powerful. And you fall back on it as you get older, right? Love never goes away that way. I can't believe I'm sounding like Dr. Phil. I think I could, the same as everybody else, that they can succeed and accomplish goals just the same as everybody else. This is from Masha. And to be happy, loved, and cared for, either by themselves or by family and friends. That's all it is. So now let's back it up. How do we work with that kid to experience love and understanding? How do we work with that kid to be able to accomplish goals? Do we allow those kids to get themselves into situations where they might fail? Yes. Yes. Maybe we'll get them into situations that they might have a little boo-boo with. Yes. Yeah. Because when you work at things, how do you accomplish a goal? You make a lot of failures first. Notice that in the work of others, when they're working in inclusion, how they're too protective, they're too caring. You got to be strong. You got to go out there. You got to fall down. You got to get yourself up, and you got to get back at it. All this stuff is only going to happen through that kind of work. And you're absolutely right, Trisha. No sugarcoating, man. Things are real. Things are honest. And that's what folks need, right? And that's how we will achieve the things we hope for. Emma. Yeah.
I kind of find it also like a little interesting because throughout the summer, when we had like at school age, we had 2 children who had the unrecognized abilities, both different. And then a lot of these activities, for example, like if we were playing a game like tag, one of them, like, she didn't want to continue playing the game unless she was the person who could never be tagged. So and then when we would to talk to her and like let her know, but like, if you want to play the game, we have to follow by the rules. And then she'd get upset, and then she's saying, well, I'm special, I can do whatever I want. So I find like also like treating them as you would treat any other students kind of gets them in the fact too, is that it's like they're not also going to get handed everything. Like either they have to like play the rules like all the other kids do, because it's not fair if Johnny has to be it, but then you can't, and then kind of like helping them be like being treated the same as other students.
Can I add to that, Emma, if you'd be so kind? I would even take one step a little further. What is it that you don't like about being it? Does it feel like it might be unfair that you're at a bit of a disadvantage of being able to catch people? Okay, fair enough. How do we change the game so it's more equitable then? Mm-hmm. Right, and then we go from there. So your point is absolutely fantastic. I would take it one step further. What's the trouble here? Why are you having trouble here? Okay, we'll change the game then. We're going to make this game a little bit different. So there's equity, and it's going to be fun. It's going to still be fun for everybody else. But yeah, that's that attitude. I am sitting here. I do. Oh, Sandra's got a point. Sandra, that was interesting too. But did anyone else catch Sandra getting a little kiss from, I'm assuming, her husband, or is she living in sin like our Emma Snell?
It's my husband. He also says he loves the beard. Just as a side note.
That's an honor coming, because this is pretty epic.
I had a point towards where that story Emma had. We had a child in our school, and our school itself is horrible for inclusion. I actually sent my kids to a different school because of it. But that was under a different principal. We have a child who's in our daycare, and he has behavioral issues, and he can be kind of a butt some days. And the school likes to give into it. He had his own way. If he didn't like what was going on in class, he could just walk the halls. He could do his own thing. He did not have to play by the rules. When he got to our daycare, he would rush to be first in line. And if he was not first in line, he would have a fit. So I was the one usually checking them in. And the principal said, well, we don't like him having a fit. Can you just make it so that is his spot? That is his spot. He could be first in line. I said, sure, we can make him first in line. But then every day when we did it, the way we checked them in, maybe it was by first name, maybe it was by last name, maybe it was by birth date. Him being first in line did not let him be first in the room. So we had to adjust because they wanted to give in, and I didn't want to fight with her. So I said, sure, he can have that spot, but that does not mean he gets to go in first. It does not make him, just because he has a fit, does not mean he gets what he wants. He has to play by the same rules as everybody else.
Yeah. Again, Sandra, that was a nice example about the difference between caring and support. That was a nice example, because caring is, oh, let's just give them the spot in line, and then everything's channel. Support is, it's going to be a tough few months because we're not going with that. And it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough on him. It's going to be tough on us. But at the end of it, what's a positive thing that you've learned, right? And that's what you guys are dealing with. And I think it's scary. Maybe I'm absolutely wrong, but there's nothing in dealing with kids' guidance that you use their the stuff that's getting into trouble as a reward. That's scary to me. So you guys are bang on, in my opinion, Sandra. You're supporting this kid, because you know what? Can I also say this is there's going to come a point that he's going to have a freak out and get really embarrassed. He's going to get really embarrassed about himself. And he won't maybe have that. You go, how come nobody taught me this? How come nobody taught me that, sometimes you're first in line, sometimes you're last. It doesn't matter, because I'm first at other things. My self-esteem's good and all that other stuff. I would be spending more time on self-esteem and looking at who this kid is and what his gifts are than being first in line. So thank you, Sandra. Did that help?
We had a kid really similar to that one, to yours, like almost identical to your situation, Sandra, where the school wanted to give in to him so much. But then they saw the progress that we were making, but still weren't willing to like they would ask us tips, but they wouldn't actually do the work. And there was multiple times where they would call us and be like, can you actually send a staff here to come and help us with him because we don't know what to do? But then they wouldn't take any of the tips to help him. They would give in to him every time and then call us to come and fix their problem. And it was really frustrating.
Yeah, thank you, Ashley. Does that help a little bit, Sandra? You guys are on the right track. It's not going to make it easy, though. Nobody said inclusion's easy. If it was easy, everybody'd be doing it.
It only took about 2 weeks before he stopped having fits and no longer cared that he was first in line. It didn't take long. Like, it just meant putting in the work, and we had to deal with a couple freakouts and that, and it was good.
Again, it's investment, Sandra. I'll invest in a couple of bad weeks instead of having a full year. I'll invest in a couple of bad weeks. Bang on, Sandra, bang on. But it is tough work, man. And sometimes you go, is this the right thing? Keep going, falling back and going, but what am I hoping for this kid? What am I hoping for him? You know, if you're hoping for him to have friendship skills, freaking out about a lineup is not going to give him many friends. Not gonna. It's not gonna. All right. I got one more little thing. Another one from Trisha Vincent. I think the best was my first introduction to Kara. It was very easygoing and let some things slide. Her mom said, don't let her trick you. She can do it. And the next day I pushed her a little bit and she amazed me. And mom was right. She's very capable. Was totally playing with me. You know, seeing these kids, all kids as capable is the whole trick, everybody. Again, that's why I'm not focusing on disabling conditions. Some other people that teach this course focus on that stuff. I don't care. Gets me nowhere. I got to know about that kid. I got to push them so we all know each other's expectations and boundaries. Now we know each other. Now we can live together. That's just what it is. That's just what it is. I don't know about you guys, but as I was listening to a bit of this, please, I'm just being funny here, but I was listening going, oh my God, this is starting to turn like, yeah, let's get that little disabled kid. You're not special. Did anyone else feel that? I don't know. I just kind of got that. Salen wants to laugh, but she's very uncomfortable with that joke. All right. Beautiful conversation today. I want to remind you about what we got planned. So can you try it? That little thing I asked about a therapeutic recommendation and what the person's good at. And let's see if we can give ideas. Oh, wait a second. Maybe use the kid that you're thinking about for the assignment. Throw that out there with the gifts and the strength. And then other people give you some ideas. Well, it doesn't look like anyone's moved by that, but I think it's a damn good idea. All right. Okay, thank you, Crystal. I think that's a thumb up, or is that another thing on your... Okay, yes, okay. I'm getting...
Even though we can't use, like, their actual names, can we use, like, a fake name? Like instead of, like if the kid's name was John, but like, use Tom instead, like a fake name?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Tom, his name's really John, so, you know, you blew that one, Emma. You blew that one. Okay. Yes, kid A. I would be terrible. I was a terrible student in ECE, and so I would use names like, well, little Hitler was playing with, my instructors hated that. I thought it was funny. It was clever. Jasmine Van Veen. It makes me frustrated when people are babying the child. Oh, God. Oh, Jasmine, I could talk for hours on that one. They're capable of doing more than you're giving them credit for. Yeah, Jasmine. When this is all over, I'm going to come over there and hug you, too, because that is a good one. That is a darn good one. It frustrates the heck out of me when they talk to folks like that, when they baby it. I'm gonna give you just one quick little example before we cut out. Scott's the singer in my band. He's the guy with, his mom took thalidomide or something like that. We were performing at the Franco Manitoban for this really cool event that brought arts to the community, folks with unrecognized abilities. And someone who used to work with Scott when he was younger, Scott's my age. when they worked with him, we're walking through. Scott stands out because he's like only this big, right? So we're walking through, and these two old staff members come up to him. They go, "Scotty, Scotty, Scotty," and I went, "Whoa! His name is effing Scott. It's Scott. He's not a little boy. It's Scott. Don't treat him like a baby." You know what, Jasmine? What also gets my goat is when staff are okay with the kid with the unrecognized ability. Oh God, Jasmine, what drives me crazy is when the kid has unrecognized ability and the staff are okay with that kid always being the baby in dramatic play. I see it. I see it all the time. That's the time for us to step in and go, hey, how come they can't be such and such? So you're absolutely right, Jasmine. Thank you for that. That's the way the mom dealt with her kid that I had. Yeah, okay, right. Oh, yeah, that's fair. I better watch what I say. I don't want to influence that either. All righty. So today, folks, check out Positively Autistic. Thank you for the conversation. This was brilliant today. I dig you guys. I even wrote that on our team site with your Michelle and Melinda. Man, you guys are really cool. So check out Positively Autistic. Check out Downesty. I'd be really curious about what you guys thought about that. It's really cool. Right, Trisha? You watched it. Trisha Brosite. Did you watched it? It was kind of weird, eh? Okay, she's not 100. Okay, do not go by Trisha's commentary on that. Trust me on this one. All right. Okay, don't trust Trisha. We don't know what kind of TV show she likes. The Flipgrid question's a good one, and it's a two-parter. Where on Flipgrid, I just want you to talk about, a really cool social media meme, little film, maybe an Instagram account or something that's a very pro-inclusion message. And I want you to just tell me about it and why you like it. And then could you, not that this would be tied to the marks, but could you post it in Teams? Could you post a link to that really cool thing in Teams? And even if we got repeats, we got repeats. That's okay. But it's kind of like what Celine did. All right? What she had posted yesterday. Let's, on Flipgrid, tell me what your favorite little thing was. I'll tell you mine. You can't find, is Ethan still around, Emma? Oh. Is he? Okay, I'll be careful with my words because it's my favorite commercial. It's called the A-hole. Is that okay, Emma, to say that? The A-hole? Not that it makes it even better, right? Is that okay? I don't want him going around going A-hole, A-hole, A-hole. All right. Okay, you're turning down the volume. Good for you, Emma. Okay, so the commercial's called A-hole, and it's people eating at a restaurant, and they're having a conversation, and there's this terrible guy at the table. He's terrible about women. He's very racist. He's saying the most terrible stuff. And as the camera pans back, you realize he's in a wheelchair. And it says just because he's in a wheelchair doesn't make him an a-hole. And I love that one because it's the whole thing about inclusion. You're not special. You're a human being like you and I. All right, so post it if you can. Chat about it on the Flipgrid. That would be good. Check out Positively Autistic. Check out Downesty. Make sure you download the PowerPoint slideshow so you can hear my voice. And I think that is about it. Try that little thing, right? Try the little thing that the name, Tom. We're going to call everybody Tom based on Emma Snell. Emma, shouldn't you be hiding that you're on the phone? Like, should you be actually showing that in the camera? Like,
Sorry, I was looking for like a link for like the thing to send for today in the Teams. I had a certain account in mind, and I'm trying to look for it.
Of course. I love teasing you. I love So that's so post that up. Try that little thing about the therapeutic recommendation. That will help you with your learning story. I'll even throw my 2 cents in there. Okay, so that'll help you with the learning story stuff and get us bang on. Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you, Jasmine Van Veen, Masha, Mark. Okay, Jasmine. Where's Masha's? Mark, Masha asked a question. Do you say that about every group? Mark, ignore my question. Ethan's now saying, Scotty, that's the way mom dealt with the kid. What's your question, Masha?
My question was, I can't think of one of the kids for the learning story. None of my kids are really, so maybe I need a different perspective on it, because I tried talking about it with my mom last night, but she wasn't really helpful in terms of trying to think of a different perspective. I currently don't really have anyone that's struggling in any capacity, and the one kid that I kind of do, he hasn't been there in 3 weeks, and I doubt he's going to be here any longer in terms of, because he just walks home. Yeah. And so, like, I don't know who to pick. And
okay, let's can I suggest something weird?
Sure.
Maybe it's not an individual. How are the kids coping with stuff right now?
Pretty okay, because most of them, well, not most of them, but we've had a few of them over the summer, and either their parents are an essential worker or their parents a teacher, so they're hearing about it fairly often at home. So I mean, and the school's been really good about about giving them whatever they need in terms of supports and all that. Yeah, and my mom suggested maybe thinking about it as a group as well, but I don't know. I couldn't.
The reason why I asked that, Masha, is because you're in a school age program, I'm assuming?
Yeah.
So they don't have all their mates there? Is everybody there that usually attends?
For the most part, yeah. There's a couple kids that aren't there, but there's not a huge difference in terms of the friendships and relationships between the kids. Like, the girls all have their friends that are there, and the boys have all their friends that are there, and the kids that are kind of like the in between, they kind of, like, everyone's pretty accepting considering their school agers.
Yeah.
But I think because now that everyone's kind of, these are the people you have to play with because we're not mixing with others.
Yeah.
They're kind of getting more used to playing with this kid and that kid that is not really their friend, so to speak. They're their daycare friend, right? But other than that, they won't play with them at school if they're not in the same cohort. They're not going to go on, like, have play dates and stuff. But they're really accepting right now in terms of who they're playing with.
Okay, Masha, you're back at work tomorrow?
I'm there this afternoon. I have to go in. My supervisor's in the hospital, or was.
Okay. Sorry about your suit. I hope they're.
She's back home and doing well.
Okay, good. Masha, can we answer this question maybe later on? Like, can you work this afternoon with, again, thinking about, well, because support can be anything. It could be the tiniest little thing. And maybe there's a kid that maybe you'll see this afternoon going, oh, good, yeah, that might be the one that sort of help.
Right.
Are you okay with leaving it like that?
Yeah.
And then, like, I'll keep the teams up, and can you just write me when you if you're still stuck, or if you're
yeah.
Or, I will find a kid from the north end, and I'll just drive them to your center. We'll throw them in there with a knife, and good luck.
Sounds good.
Or I'll dress up like a school ager, and I'll have a terrible behavior, and then you got to deal with me. Oh, there's 100 ways we could do that.
Well, the one kid that has a terrible behavior, he's chill with me, but he's also not there. So that was the only one that I was kind of thinking about.
Yeah.
But he hasn't been there because he just walks home after school.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Can you wait till tonight?
Yeah, I'll think about it and I'll
Okay.
figure it out. I'll take a better look at my kids.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. With the new lens, that's okay. That's okay. And then we can have a chat. All right, Masha.
Okay.
Sorry for missing your
That's
question.
okay.
But
That's
isn't it
okay.
feel good that Jasmine is in your corner?
Definitely. Thanks, Jasmine.
You guys are beside each other on my screen, so
Oh,
it's
really?
lovely. Well
We're
done.
on opposite sides.
Well done, Jasmine. All right, Trisha, what was the name of the video? I want you to go through the stuff Positively Autistic and Dynasty. It's like Dynasty, the old soap opera. But also check out the Mutter one too, the Mutter Challenge, because that's a beautiful metaphor for support. Actually, check them all out. They're actually great resources. I think they're fantastic. Okay, beautiful. Thank you guys for all that beautiful support. You're right, Jasmine. The beard might give me away. Yeah, you could be right. I could say, like, this is the North End, so I could say, yeah, I'm a Ukrainian kid. We got a beard like at 5, you know? Yeah, I don't know why I talk like that. It's not even Ukrainian. I look at Ashley looking at me going, that racist. All right. Okay. All right. I have been bookmarking all that. Oh, good, good. Right on, right on. Okay, everybody. Boy, that was a longie. That was almost an hour and a half. Oh, shit. Oh, yeah, it is recorded. I did re-record it. Okay. All right, everybody. I'm going to say my goodbyes. Thank you again for today. This was a lot of fun. Yeah, I love the conversation we have, and this is a terrible medium sometimes for teaching, but you guys make it so darn easy. I close out, come back on, you guys are all there. So that was brilliant. I gotta go see gotta go friends see all my. So I'll do my quick goodbyes to everybody. Ashley, as always, and a lovely cat. Have yourself a beautiful day. And when all this is done, at graduation, I want to meet your mom. She sounds like a lot of fun, my kind of cat. All right, Kathy, I hope you have a lovely day. I just love how stoic you sit there. And I know that I'm saying something funny when you laugh. I love that. So thank you, Kathy, for being you. Crystal, your energy is contagious. It makes things fun. This is what this is all about. So, Crystal, thank you very much. Emma, thank you for putting on with my teasing. You know, I only care about people that I tease, right? Oh, so thank you. Emma Filion, thanks for having your kid around. That's so much fun having him. Hey, Ethan, have yourself a good day, mate. Yeah, have a good day, man. Jasmine Van Veen, thank you for all your advocacy work with Masha and you just being you and that beautiful explosion of hair. I love it. Jody Black, you're quiet, but we like you because, you know, sometimes you say offensive things. So I'm glad that you're keeping her quiet, Jody. Thank you. Thank you. Larissa wrote to us today, Larissa. Much love to you, my friend, and thank you for putting up with my jabs. Masha, yeah, you got me thinking. So I'm going to think too, Masha, okay? But go and look, and we'll come up with something for sure. No worries there. Megan Workington. Oh, she's there. Usually we have a beautiful picture. But Megan, have yourself a lovely day. Salin, period. Oh, there she is. Go, Megan. Salin, period. Thank you again for that video, and thank you for some of your comments today. That really sort of tied stuff what I was trying to get across. Sandra Anderson, give a big hello to your husband. The guy's got good taste. He seems like a cool dude. And thank you for bringing up that it really helped too. And it was kind of cool how Ashley and you had the same situation and dealing with it the same way. That was lovely, Sandra. Oh, and Trisha Brozite. Have yourself a lovely day, Trisha, okay? Okay, see you later, buddy.